The champagne hit his blazer in slow motion. I watched the golden liquid spread across the expensive fabric, each drop a small disaster. My stomach twisted into knots. Around us, crystal chandeliers cast everything in harsh, judgmental light. "I'm so sorry." The words tumbled out. I wasn't watching where I was going. Clearly. His voice cut through me like winter wind. I forced myself to look up. Grayson Blackwell stared down at me with eyes so blue they looked carved from ice. His jaw was sharp enough to draw blood. Everything about him screamed money, power, untouchable. Everything about him made me want to disappear. "You're new." Not a question. His gaze traveled over my borrowed red dress, my thrift store shoes. "You work for my father." "I'm an executive assistant. Started 3 weeks ago." That single sound carried more dismissal than an entire speech. He took a napkin from a passing waiter, wiped his blazer with mechanical precision. Didn't look at me again. "Next time, try to pay attention to where you're walking." His tone was bored, detached. "Some people here are worth more than you could ever afford." The words landed like a slap. He walked away. Left me standing there with my empty glass and burning face. Left me with the absolute certainty that Grayson Blackwell was exactly the kind of man I despised most. Rich. Arrogant. Convinced of his own superiority. I should have left. Should have grabbed my coat and run back to my tiny apartment where I belonged. But something made me freeze. He stopped. Halfway across the marble floor, surrounded by Boston's elite, he stopped. Turned his head slowly. Looked back at me. And for one impossible second, the mask cracked. His eyes met mine. Something flickered there. Something raw and confused and almost human. My heart kicked against my ribs. Then he looked away. Kept walking. I stood there trying to remember how to breathe. Trying to understand why his gaze had affected me like a lightning strike. "Wait." His voice again. Closer this time. I turned. He was less than a meter away, studying me like I was a problem he couldn't solve. "What's your name?" The question hung between us. Simple. Dangerous. "Violet," I heard myself say. "Violet Monroe." "Violet." He repeated it quietly, tasting the syllables. His expression shifted into something I couldn't read. Something almost like recognition. Then without another word, he turned and disappeared into the crowd. I stood there with champagne stains on my fingers and a strange feeling blooming in my chest. A feeling I didn't want. Couldn't afford. Because Grayson Blackwell was engaged. He was arrogant. He was everything wrong with this world. And somehow, I knew my life had just become dangerously complicated. Monday morning hit me like a funeral. The elevator doors opened on the 38th floor and every face turned toward me. Whispers rippled through the office like poison in water. My colleague Derek appeared at my desk, grinning like he'd won the lottery. "Look who's famous." He shoved his phone in my face. The headline made my blood freeze. "Mystery woman in red steals the show at Blackwell Gala." The photo showed me caught mid-turn, the borrowed dress flowing around me. I looked elegant. Beautiful. Like someone who belonged in that world. All lies. "They're calling you the most beautiful woman at the party," Derek said. "You're like Cinderella. This is a nightmare. Miss Monroe." The voice behind me turned my spine to ice. I rotated slowly. Grayson stood there in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than my car. His face was unreadable. Dangerous. "My office." "Now." He walked away without waiting. I followed on shaking legs, past curious stares and hungry whispers. His corner office was massive. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. Everything black and gray and cold. Like him. Sit. I sat. He didn't. Just stood by the window with his back to me, tension radiating off him in waves. That article, he finally said. Did you arrange it? Anger flared hot in my chest. No. Of course not. My fiancée is upset. He turned to face me. Those blue eyes pinned me in place. She feels you're trying to draw attention away from our engagement. That's absurd. I didn't ask for any of this. Didn't you? I stood up fast enough to make the chair scrape. No, I didn't. And frankly, Mr. Blackwell, I don't appreciate being accused of something I didn't do. I'm here to work. I have no interest in your engagement, your fiancé, or your family's social drama. Silence crashed between us. Then slowly, impossibly, the corner of his mouth curved. Not quite a smile. Something more dangerous. You're not afraid of me. Should I be? He studied me for a long moment. Something shifted in his expression. Surprise. Maybe respect. You can go, he said quietly. But Miss Monroe, stay out of the spotlight. For your own sake. I walked to the door. Stopped with my hand on the handle. For the record, I said without turning around, I borrowed that dress because I had nothing else. I went to that party because refusing felt rude. I'm not trying to be Cinderella. I'm just trying to survive. I left before he could respond. But I felt his eyes on me all the way to my desk. Felt them like a brand on my skin. 3 days later, I was hiding in the basement archive room when the door clicked shut behind me. Camille Sterling stood there in cream and pearls. Her smile was all teeth. Violet Monroe. We need to talk. My heart hammered. How can I help you? You can help me by understanding something. She moved closer, heels clicking on concrete. Grayson and I have been together for 2 years. Our wedding will unite two of the most powerful families in Boston. She stopped inches from my face. And you? You're nobody. A pretty face that will be forgotten by next week. I'm not trying to be anything. Aren't you? Her hand shot out. Grabbed a strand of my hair. Yanked hard enough to make my eyes water. Stay away from him. Or I will destroy you. I'll make sure you never work in this city again. Pain exploded across my scalp. Tears burned, but I refused to let them fall. Let go of me. She released my hair. Smoothed her dress like nothing happened. Consider this a friendly warning, she said sweetly. There won't be another. The door closed behind her. I stood there shaking. Rage and humiliation warring in my chest. She was right about one thing. I was nobody. I had no power. If she wanted to destroy me, she could. That evening, the elevator doors opened and Grayson stepped out. We nearly collided. His hand caught my arm. Miss Monroe. His brow furrowed. Are you all right? I'm fine. You've been crying. I haven't. You're a terrible liar. His grip tightened slightly. Did something happen? Did someone say something to you? Yes. Your fiancé just threatened to ruin my life. Nothing happened, I said firmly. I'm just tired. Violet. Miss Monroe, I corrected. I pulled free, met his eyes. We're not friends, Mr. Blackwell. You're my employer's son. I'm an assistant trying very hard to keep her job. Something flashed across his face. Hurt. Anger. I couldn't tell. Then let me make something clear, he said, voice dropping low. You're not just an assistant to me. The words hit like an earthquake. Before I could respond, his phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen. His jaw clenched. "I have to go," he said roughly. "But this conversation isn't over." He walked away, leaving me standing there with my world tilting on its axis. Because Grayson Blackwell had just admitted I meant something to him. And that was the most dangerous thing of all. 2 weeks passed like walking on broken glass. Grayson watched me. I felt his eyes everywhere. In meetings. Across the office floor. Through the glass walls of his office. Watching, always watching, with that intense focus that made my skin burn. I avoided him. Took the stairs to skip elevator encounters. Ate lunch at my desk. Left files outside his door instead of bringing them in. It didn't matter. He found ways. A coffee appeared on my desk one morning. My favorite. I never told him what that was. Notes started appearing with project files. Small comments in his sharp handwriting. "Good work. This analysis is excellent. You see things others miss." I threw them away. Every single one. Because this couldn't happen. Whatever this was. Then came the Friday that changed everything. I was working late, alone on the 38th floor. The city sparkled below, indifferent to the chaos in my head. I didn't hear him approach until he spoke. "Why do you keep running from me?" I spun around. Grayson stood in my doorway, tie loosened, hair slightly disheveled. He looked exhausted. "Human. I'm not running. You are." He stepped closer. "Every time I try to talk to you. Every time I dash," he stopped. Ran a hand through his hair. "Why?" "Because you're engaged," I said flatly. "Because this is inappropriate. Because I need this job." "I know." His voice cracked slightly. "I know all of that. But I can't dash." He looked at me and something in his expression made my breath catch. "I can't stop thinking about you." "Don't." I stood up, putting the desk between us. "Don't do this." "Do what?" "Tell you the truth." He moved around the desk. Slowly. Like approaching something wild. That I haven't slept properly in 2 weeks. That every time I close my eyes, I see you in that red dress. That I've memorized the way you bite your lip when you're concentrating. Stop. That I'm losing my mind because a woman I barely know has become the only real thing in my entire fake life. The words hung between us. Raw. Dangerous. "Your life isn't fake," I whispered. "You're marrying Camille. Your family's. My family's made a business arrangement." His laugh was bitter. "That's all this wedding is. A merger. I don't love her. I never have." "Then why?" "Because it's what's expected." He was close now. So close I could see gold flecks in his blue eyes. "Because I'm a Blackwell and this is what we do. We marry the right people. Build the right alliances. Feel nothing. Grayson. Until you." His hand came up slowly, giving me time to move away. I didn't. His fingers brushed my cheek. Gentle. Reverent. "Until you spilled champagne on me and looked at me like I was just a man. Not a name. Not a bank account. Just a man." My heart was trying to break through my ribs. "This can't happen," I said, but my voice shook. "I know. She'll destroy me. I won't let her. You can't stop her." Tears burned my eyes. "You don't understand what it's like to have nothing. To be nothing. One wrong move and I lose everything." His thumb caught a tear on my cheek. "You're not nothing, Violet. You're." The office door slammed open. We jumped apart. But not fast enough. Camille stood there, her face twisted with rage. Behind her, Harrison Blackwell, Grayson's father. Cold. Calculating. Well, Harrison said quietly. This is disappointing. Father, this isn't. Isn't what? Camille's voice was venom. Isn't you I fucking the help while wearing my engagement ring? Camille. I warned her. She turned those green eyes on me. Triumphant. I told you to stay away. But you just couldn't help yourself, could you? Gold digging little. Enough. Grayson's voice cracked like a whip. Don't speak to her like that. Or what? Camille laughed. You'll defend her? Choose her over your family? Over everything your name represents? Silence fell like a guillotine. Harrison Blackwell studied me with cold precision. Miss Monroe, you're fired. Effective immediately. The world tilted. No. Grayson stepped forward. You can't. I can and I have. Harrison's tone left no room for argument. She's a liability. Security will escort her out. Then I quit. Everyone froze. Grayson stood there, shoulders squared, jaw clenched. Looking at his father with something between defiance and desperation. You don't mean that, Harrison said carefully. I do. Grayson's hand found mine. Squeezed. I'm done pretending. Done living a life that was chosen for me before I could even speak. If you walk away from this family, from this company, from your responsibilities, Harrison's voice dropped to ice. You walk away with nothing. No trust fund. No position. No safety net. You'll be as poor as she is. The words were designed to wound. To remind Grayson of everything he'd be losing. I don't care. But I did. I pulled my hand free. Looked at Grayson with my heart shattering into pieces. Yes, you do, I said softly. And you should. Violet. This is your life, Grayson. Your family. Your legacy. I stepped back. I won't let you throw it away from me. That's my choice. No. I forced steel into my voice. It's mine. And I'm making it. I turned to Harrison. I'll go. Quietly. No fuss. But you leave him alone. Violet, don't do this. I looked at Grayson one last time. Memorized his face. The pain in his eyes. Goodbye, Mr. Blackwell. I walked out. Down the hall. Into the elevator. Through the lobby. Out into the cold Boston night. I made it 2 blocks before I collapsed against a building and finally let myself cry. Behind me, I didn't see Grayson standing at the window. Watching me disappear into the city. His hand pressed against the glass. I didn't see him turn to his father and say in a voice like death, "You're going to regret this." I didn't see Camille's triumphant smile. Or the way it would crack in exactly 3 days when she discovered what Grayson had been hiding all along. A secret that would burn their perfect world to ash. 3 days after I walked away, my phone rang at 2 a.m. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But something made me press accept. Violet? Derek's voice. Panicked. Wrong. What's wrong? You need to see this. Papers rustled. I'm sending you a link. Open it. Now. My hands shook as I clicked. A financial news site loaded. The headline made my stomach drop. Blackwell scandal, heir accused of embezzlement, fraud. Below it, a photo of Grayson. But not the composed, arrogant man I knew. This man looked haunted. Destroyed. What is this? It broke an hour ago. Derek's words tumbled out fast. Someone leaked internal documents. Bank transfers. Offshore accounts. They're saying Grayson's been stealing from his own company for 2 years. Millions, Violet. They're saying he used his access to. No. The word came out fierce. No, that's not possible. The documents look real. His signature. His accounts. The board is calling for his arrest. I read through the article with ice spreading through my veins. Each line was worse than the last. But something was wrong. The timeline. The patterns. Derek, these dates. They don't make sense. Half these transactions happened while Grayson was overseas. I remember because I helped coordinate his travel schedules. Then who? My door buzzed. At 2 a.m. I crept to the peephole. My heart stopped. Grayson stood in my hallway. Soaked from rain. Face pale. Eyes wild. I have to go, I told Derek. Hung up. Opened the door. Grayson stumbled inside. It wasn't me. I know. Something in my certainty made him sag with relief. You believe me? The timeline's wrong. The patterns. You're not that sloppy. I guided him to my couch. He was shaking. Who did this? My father. His voice cracked. It was my father all along. The pieces clicked into place with horrible clarity. He was embezzling, I whispered. Using your credentials. For 3 years. Grayson's hands clenched into fists. Building offshore accounts in my name. Setting me up. When I found out 2 months ago, he said if I ever crossed him, he looked at me. If I ever chose anything over the family, he'd release the evidence. Destroy me. Because you stood up for me. Because I finally chose something real. I sat beside him. Why didn't you tell me? Because I thought I could fix it. Find proof. Protect you and handle him. His laugh was broken. I was wrong. He moved faster than I expected. By tomorrow morning, my face will be on every news channel. They're calling for my arrest, Violet. For crimes I didn't commit. Then we fight back. He turned to me. We? You think I'm going to let him win? Anger burned through my fear. He fired me. Threatened me. Used us both as pawns. I grabbed Grayson's face between my hands. Tell me you have something. Anything we can use. There's one person who knows the truth. His expression darkened. Camille. Everything stopped. What? She found out 6 weeks ago. Before the party where we met. She was going through my father's computer and found the transfers. He swallowed hard. She confronted him. He made her a deal. What kind of deal? Keep quiet, help him control me, and after the wedding, she gets a seat on the board. Real power. Everything she always wanted. Betrayal tasted like copper. She knew, I said slowly. This whole time. She let you take the fall. Yes. That's why she was so threatened by me. Not because she loved you. But because I was her ticket to power. Grayson's voice was hollow. And you were the one thing that might make me walk away from it all. Ruin her plans. I stood up, pacing. Thinking. We need her to confess. She won't. She will. I turned to face him. If we give her something she wants more than power. Like what? I met his eyes. Saw my own reflection there. Determined. Reckless. Me. Absolutely not. Listen. I moved back to the couch. She hates me. Wants me gone more than anything. What if I offer her a deal? I disappear forever. Leave Boston. Never contact you again. In exchange, she tells the truth about your father. No. Grayson grabbed my shoulders. I'm not losing you. You already lost everything else. I don't care about the money. The company. Any of it. His grip tightened. But I care about you. Don't ask me to trade you for my freedom. I won't do it. Then what's your plan? I demanded. Go to prison for crimes you didn't commit? Let your father win? I'll find another way. There is no other way. My voice cracked. This is the only leverage we have. The only thing Camille wants badly enough to risk her deal with your father. Why are you doing this? Because someone has to sacrifice something. Tears burned my eyes. And I have less to lose. That's not true. Isn't it? I pulled away. I'm nobody, Grayson. Remember? Your father said it. Camille said it. Hell, you thought it when we first met. I was wrong. Maybe. But this world doesn't care about wrong or right. I wiped my eyes roughly. It cares about power. And right now, the only power I have is that Camille wants me gone. So I'm going to use it. Silence stretched between us. If we do this, Grayson finally said, voice rough. We do it smart. We record the conversation. Get her confession on tape. Then you don't have to disappear. Hope flickered. Dangerous and bright. You think she'll admit it? If she believes you're really leaving, really giving me up? He nodded slowly. She'll gloat. She won't be able to help herself. I grabbed my phone. Pulled up Camille's number. What are you doing? Ending this. I hit call. She answered on the third ring. Voice sleepy. Annoyed. Who is this? It's Violet. We need to talk. A pause. Then, it's 2 a.m. I know. And I also know what you did. I forced steel into my voice. I know about Harrison's embezzlement. About your deal. About everything. Her breath hitched. I don't know what you're. Save it. I met Grayson's eyes. I have a proposition for you. Meet me tomorrow. The coffee shop on Boylston Street. 10 a.m. Why would I? Because I'm offering you what you want most. I swallowed hard. I'm offering to disappear. Forever. If you tell the truth about Grayson's father. Silence. Then, I'll be there. She hung up. I lowered the phone. Looked at Grayson. Tomorrow, I said. We get your life back. And if it doesn't work? Then I really do disappear. I moved closer. Let myself touch his face one more time. And you forget I existed. That's impossible. Then let's make sure it doesn't come to that. He kissed me then. Desperate. Fierce. Like we were both drowning and each other were air. When we broke apart, the sky outside was turning gray with dawn. Whatever happens, Grayson said quietly, I want you to know something. What? That night at the party, when you spilled champagne on me? He tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. That was the moment my life actually started. Everything before was just waiting. Tears spilled over. Don't, I whispered. Don't make this harder. I love you, Violet Monroe. The words shattered something inside me. I love you too, I said. That's why I have to do this. Outside, the city woke to scandal and lies. Inside my tiny apartment, we held each other and pretended the morning wouldn't come. But it did. And with it, the final betrayal neither of us saw coming. The coffee shop smelled like burned beans and desperation. I sat at a corner table, phone recording in my jacket pocket. Grayson was outside in a car, watching through the window. Backup. Insurance. Hope. Camille arrived at exactly 10 a.m. Perfect hair. Perfect smile. Perfect poison. She slid into the seat across from me. This better be worth my time. It is. I kept my voice steady. I want to make a deal. So you said. She ordered a latte from a passing waiter. Casual. Confident. Let's hear it. I leave Boston. Today. Never contact Grayson again. You get exactly what you wanted. And in return, you tell the truth about Harrison's embezzlement. Clear Grayson's name. She laughed. Actually laughed. Why would I do that? Because you know he's innocent. Because you have proof. So? She sipped her latte. Proof doesn't matter if no one believes it. The authorities will. The authorities will believe whatever Harrison tells them to believe. Her smile sharpened. That's how power works, Violet. Something you'll never understand. Then do it for Grayson. You were together for 2 years. I was never with Grayson. She leaned forward. I was with his name. His money. His future. The man himself? She waved a hand dismissively. Boring. Predictable. Too moral for his own good. He trusted you. He was useful. She set down her cup. Until he became inconvenient. Until you came along and made him question everything. Made him weak. Rage burned in my chest. So you let his father destroy him. I helped his father destroy him. She smiled. Who do you think suggested releasing the documents now? Who convinced Harrison that Grayson needed to be completely broken before he'd fall back in line? My blood turned to ice. It was you. Every step. Pride colored her voice. I even wrote that article about you. The mystery woman in red. I knew it would drive Grayson crazy. Knew he wouldn't be able to resist you once you were in the spotlight. You used me. I used everything. She leaned back. And now Grayson's facing arrest. His reputation is destroyed. He has nowhere to turn except back to his family. Back to me. He'll never marry you now. Won't he? Her smile was cruel. He will when I'm the only one who can save him. When I come forward with evidence that his father was the real embezzler. When I play the heartbroken fiancé who discovered the truth. The pieces clicked into place with horrible clarity. You're planning to betray Harrison. Of course. She examined her nails. His deal gave me a board seat. But if I'm the hero who exposed his crimes? I get everything. The company. The power. Grayson's gratitude. She looked at me. And you out of the picture forever. Why are you telling me this? Because you asked for the truth. She stood up. And because there's nothing you can do about it. No one will believe a fired assistant over a Sterling. Harrison will be arrested. Grayson will be cleared and indebted to me. And you? She smiled. You'll disappear like you promised. Because if you don't, I'll make sure everyone knows you tried to blackmail me. She walked away. I sat there. Phone still recording. Heart hammering. She'd confessed to everything. But not the way we'd planned. I pulled out my phone. Stopped the recording. Listened to it twice to be sure. Then I stood and walked outside. Grayson met me halfway. Did you get it? Yes. I showed him the phone. But it's not what we thought. We listened together. Watched his face go pale, then red, then cold as winter. She orchestrated everything, he said quietly. Even the article about you. She pushed me toward you just so she could use it to control me later. She's planning to throw your father under the bus. Take everything for herself. And I'm supposed to be grateful. His jaw clenched. Marry her out of obligation for saving me. Not if we release this first. He looked at me. If we do that, she'll claim you blackmailed her. She has lawyers. Resources. She'll destroy you. So we're back to the beginning. No. Something shifted in his expression. Determination. No, we're not. He pulled out his own phone. Made a call. Dad. It's me. We need to talk. Now. A pause. The Sterling Hotel. Penthouse suite. 1 hour. Come alone. He hung up. What are you doing? Playing the last card we have. He took my hand. Trust me. 1 hour later, we stood in an opulent hotel suite. Harrison Blackwell arrived exactly on time. Took one look at me and his expression hardened. What is she doing here? Witnessing. Grayson's voice was ice. We have a recording, Dad. Camille confessing to everything. How she helped you frame me. How she manipulated the timeline. How she's planning to betray you. Harrison's face didn't change. I don't know what you're. Don't. Grayson played the recording. Watched his father's composure crack with each word. When it finished, silence fell like a tomb. This proves nothing, Harrison finally said. It's her word against forensic evidence I've been gathering for 6 weeks. Grayson pulled out a folder. Bank statements showing your signatures. Security footage of you accessing my computer. Testimony from 3 employees who saw you forge my credentials. You've been investigating me. Since the moment I found out. Grayson's hands trembled. You're my father. I wanted to believe there was another explanation. That you'd made a mistake. Been coerced. I did what was necessary. You stole from your own company. Framed your own son. Destroyed innocent people to maintain your power. Grayson's voice cracked. How is any of that necessary? You don't understand the pressures. Then help me understand. Grayson moved closer. Tell me why. Why frame me? Why not just stop? Harrison looked at his son. Really looked at him. And something in his face shifted. Softened. Because I was weak, he said quietly. 20 years ago, I made a mistake. Borrowed from the company to cover personal debts. I thought I'd pay it back before anyone noticed. But you couldn't. The hole got deeper. I took more to cover the first theft. Then more. Until I was too far in to ever climb out. He sat heavily. When you joined the company, I saw a way out. Frame you. Let you take the fall. Start fresh. So you built 3 years of false evidence. Yes. Harrison's shoulders sagged. And I told myself it was for the family. For the company. But really? He looked at Grayson. It was cowardice. I couldn't face what I'd done. Couldn't lose everything I'd built. So you'd rather lose your son? I thought I could control it. Keep you close even after the scandal. But then you met her. He glanced at me. And for the first time, you chose something over the family. Over me. Grayson's hand found mine. Squeezed. I'm still choosing her, he said quietly. And you can't stop me. But I'm giving you a choice now. What choice? Turn yourself in. Confess everything to the authorities. I'll testify that you coerced me. That I was trying to help you cover up the original theft out of loyalty. Grayson's voice steadied. You'll do time. But probably minimum security. Maybe 5 years. When you get out, I'll be waiting. And if I don't? Then I release all of this. The evidence. The recordings. Camille's confession. Everything. Grayson's eyes hardened. And you spend the rest of your life in prison. Harrison stood. Walked to the window. Stared out at the city he'd once commanded. I'm sorry, he finally said. For all of it. For what I did to you. To her. He turned back. To myself. Is that a yes? It's a yes. Relief crashed through me. Grayson's hand tightened on mine. Thank you, Grayson said roughly. For choosing the right thing. Finally. Harrison nodded. Walked to the door. Stopped with his hand on the handle. She makes you happy? He asked, not turning around. Yes. Then I was wrong about more than just the embezzlement. He looked back. Take care of her. Don't make my mistakes. He left. The door clicked shut. Grayson turned to me. Pulled me into his arms. It's over, he whispered into my hair. It's really over. What about Camille? We leak the recording tomorrow. Once my father confesses, her role in it becomes public. She'll be disgraced. Powerless. And us? He pulled back. Looked at me with those impossible blue eyes. I want to offer you something. What? A choice. He reached into his pocket. Pulled out a small box. Opened it. Inside was a simple silver ring. No diamond. No flash. Just clean lines and quiet elegance. I'm not asking you to marry me, he said. Not yet. But I'm asking if you'll stay. Build something real with me. No mansions. No galas. Just us. What about the company? I'm stepping down. Starting my own firm. Something small. Something honest. He smiled slightly. I'll need a good assistant. That's a terrible business pitch. I know. He took the ring out. But it's all I have. No trust fund. No safety net. Just me. And the promise that I'll spend every day proving you made the right choice. Tears spilled over. You're sure? I've never been more sure of anything. I held out my hand. He slid the ring on. Perfect fit. I love you, I said. Even though you're terrible at paying attention to where you're walking. He laughed. Actually laughed. And I love you. Even though you spill champagne. That was one time. It was the best mistake of my life. He kissed me then. Soft. Sweet. Full of promises. Outside, the sun broke through Boston's perpetual clouds. The city sparkled. New. Clean. 6 months later, Harrison Blackwell stood in court and confessed to embezzlement and fraud. He received 5 years in minimum security. Camille Sterling's involvement came to light through leaked recordings. Her family disowned her. She left Boston in disgrace. Grayson started a consulting firm focused on ethical business practices. Small. Successful. Happy. I became his partner. In business and in life. We moved into a tiny apartment in Cambridge. No chandeliers. No marble floors. Just exposed brick and second-hand furniture and a view of the street. It was perfect. 1 year after the night I spilled champagne on his blazer, Grayson proposed. Really proposed. On our favorite bench in Boston Common, with no ring because I'd told him the silver one was enough. I said yes. We married in a small ceremony. His father attended on supervised release. We didn't speak to him. But we let him witness what choosing love over power looked like. What choosing right over easy looked like. What choosing real over perfect looked like. Sometimes at night, curled up in our small bed, Grayson still traces the place where I wore that borrowed red dress. "What are you thinking?" I ask. "That you were right," he says. "That night really did change everything. For better or worse. For real." He kisses my forehead. Finally, for real. And in the darkness of our imperfect, beautiful, honest life, I smile. Because once upon a time, a woman in a borrowed dress collided with an arrogant billionaire. And one sentence was all it took to shatter his ego. To rebuild his heart. To save them both. The end.